Hey, what is going on, Guardians? TBL here, coming back at you guys with a video talking a bit about some of the things we just learned about today, some of the things we have to look forward to in the world of Destiny 2. Now, this information is coming out of the Bungie weekly update this week at Bungie for the week of October 26th, 2017. And it was pretty darn good. We got to hear our first bit of information from the Destiny Live team that is now taking over development of Destiny 2 from the main team. They're going off to go work on or finalize the DLC. The Live team's taking over the main game, and they're going to be pushing out content and changing up the sandbox for us moving forward. And today, we actually got some really exciting information. We got some really great information about what they're going to be doing moving forward. They've been paying attention to community feedback, and they are promising to address quite a few things that many Guardians out there, myself included, have been talking about for the past couple of weeks. So let's just go ahead and dive on into the weekly update and read you their words. Right now at Bungie, we've passed the development torch from the people that made Destiny 2 to the people who will sustain it. We began a new conversation at TwitchCon with an introduction to two designers from the Live team who are working on Seasons of Change for your Guardian lifestyle. If you missed their panel discussion, here is a glimpse at some of the items you can look forward to earning in Season 2. Then of course we get a great look at some of the upcoming Iron Banner armor and some of the new Dawning gear that we'll be getting next month. This Season 2 gear looks super duper good, especially the Titan over there at the end. That looks like some real samurai gear for the Titan, which is definitely a good thing. We were really digging on that kind of samurai motif for Warlocks in the previous Iron Banner, so I'm glad to see we're going to be getting more of that kind of stuff. They continue on by saying this: the conversation continues about how this game will evolve. Game director Christopher Barrett is also working on making Destiny 2 a game that will challenge and reward you in new ways. You may have heard from him in the past, as he introduced new ways to play in House of Wolves and Rise of Iron. He's one of my favorite guys from Bungie, as a matter of fact. I remember him from the previous, pre-House of Wolves era, talking about some of the stuff we were going to get in that. And if you guys know me, you know the House of Wolves was generally when I was happiest with Destiny 1. I thought that particular period of time when was just really the best, at least when it came to PvP. That's when I had the most fun with Destiny PvP. Even though it wasn't perfect, there was still kind of a lot of crazy things going on back then, but I was very happy with the work that Bungie did with House of Wolves and Rise of Iron, so I'm happy to hear back from Chris. He's an engaged player, a Guardian like you, and he has some new thoughts about how the world of the game should adapt to the way you play. Then we move on to hearing directly from Mr. Barrett himself. Starts off by saying, "Hey everyone, we've been playing the game in the wild for 7 weeks. And like the Destiny experiences that have come before, we're always thinking about where the game is heading next. We're still planning when a bunch of the improvements listed below are going to make their way into the game, but we wanted to let you know what we're up to. Here's a short list of updates we're working on." And then he dives into a list of things that are kind of on the to-do list for the Destiny Live team, and it goes something like this: new systems and rewards to give our most engaged players additional optional pursuits, better incentives for players who complete challenging prestige activities, better rewards and replay value for strikes, adventures, and lost sectors, private matches for the competitive community, we're targeting early 2018, Crucible tuning like adjusted supremacy scoring and better spawning rules, better incentives for completing Crucible matches, and of course penalties for quitting competitive games. This is something that's sorely needed right now. Continued improvements to Iron Banner and faction rallies, including uniqueness of rewards, changes to make the mod economy more interesting and impactful, ongoing improvements to exotics, including adjustments to reduce instances of duplication, new ways to spend surplus currency and materials, looking at you legendary shards, and an emote interface that, get this, allows players to equip salty, spicy ramen, 6-shooter, and flip out all at the same time. Yes, they're finally looking at replacing some of those other emotes like your standard wave, the kneel, or the sit based on whatever class you are, giving us a emote wheel that'll allow us to equip more than one emote at a time. Hallelujah, it's finally coming. I'm glad they're finally talking about this. But holy crap, what a list. That was basically everything that the community has been talking about for the past couple of weeks. I mean, they start off big by saying new systems and rewards to give our most engaged players additional optional pursuits. Additional optional pursuits, that's basically talking about the 1%, the super hardcore players, giving them something to chase, making the time that they spend in the game worthwhile, rewarding you for that, for your tackling of the prestige raid, which they also go on to talk about bumping up some of the prestige rewards, giving you some unique things to go after that you can only get by doing these optional pursuits. Definitely what we wanted to hear. They're also talking about better replay value for strikes, adventures, and lost sectors. That's great. You guys know me. Whenever I talk about the strike playlist in Destiny 2, I say it feels kind of like an afterthought, because really it kind of does, especially when you compare it back to the great strike system we had in Destiny 1. So I'm glad they're taking a look at that. I'm glad they're going to be changing it up and bumping up the rewards and replay value. That replay value there, giving us a reason to go back into those strikes. This is the same team. The live team is what brought us, strike-specific loot, ornaments, and of course the strike scoring system. So I would not be surprised if we get to see some of that sometime in the future. They also mentioned, of course, private matches. We're getting those sometime early 2018. All of this is just really, really good stuff, and it's basically everything that the community has been really complaining about for the past couple of weeks, and rightfully so. So I don't want to get too far ahead of myself here, but things are starting to look a little bit brighter. The live team might just be exactly what Destiny 2 needed right now, in terms of revamping itself, fine-tuning itself, so that it can fix some of the issues that are going on with the game right now, and really bring back those players who invested all that time. So yeah, a little bit of cautious optimism there. The future's definitely looking bright. But that's not all we got to see today. We also got to get a quick look at what's going to be coming in patch 1.0.6. That's going to be dropping next week. This patch is mainly going to contain a lot of bug fixes. They're fixing the collision issue with the bureaucratic walk, so you can't just goose step your way outside of the map with that emote anymore. They're also going to be fixing an issue that causes players to spawn into public spaces empty. Now this is something personally I've run into a lot. If you're out in like patrol zones just trying to run public events and you find yourself alone all of the time, apparently that's a bit of a glitch. You're not supposed to be in an instance by yourself, and that's definitely something that I've run into a lot, and it makes soloing some of those public events at lower levels really frustrating. We're also getting a bunch of changes to Crucible. Let's get into this. They've updated the Mercy rule setting to allow Mercy to activate slightly later in the match, allowing overall for a wider range of scores to trigger it. For Clash, they've reduced the score limit to 50. It currently is 75. For Control, they've reduced the score limit from 100 to 90, and they've reduced the influence that enemy-controlled zones exert over the spawning system. So hopefully you're not going to be on distant shore anymore and just spawning on A, then getting killed, spawning on C, then getting spawn killed, then spawning on A again and getting spawn killed. Hopefully they're going to work out the algorithm so that it makes sure you're not spawning like right on top of a bunch of enemies. I've had a lot of that happening too. For Survival, they've reduced the time limit to 2 minutes, down from 3, and they've reduced the life count from 8 to 6. This is a great change in my opinion. If you guys have, you've heard me talk a bit about the competitive playlist, I really enjoy Survival, but I think some of those rounds do last a little bit on the long side. So cutting down the lives by 2 and cutting down the minute by 1, I think that's going to be a pretty good way to change things up. And for Supremacy, everybody's favorite game mode, they've increased the score to win up to 70 from the current 50. The game mode will also now grant 1 point for defeating an enemy guardian, so it's not just going to be points just for picking up crests anymore. You're going to get 1 point for a kill. And finally, they've adjusted the influence that enemy crests have on the spawning system. This is something kind of weird. I didn't realize that crests themselves, the crest that Guardians drop in Supremacy, had some kind of effect on spawning. That's super weird, but it might explain why spawns are so erratic in the Supremacy game mode right now. It's just so easy to get steamrolled and just pop up in front of a bunch of enemies. It's crazy. But anyways, there we go, Guardians. That's it for your quick wrap-up of the This Week at Bungie for October 26, 2017. A lot of really good, hopeful stuff in there. I'm very hopeful for the future of Destiny. You know, between this stuff, the live team basically directly addressing some of the things that we've been concerned with, the Bungie weekly blog giving us a little bit of a roadmap for what we can look forward to in patches coming forward, the leaked stuff with the crazy audio recordings. If you guys haven't heard that, head over to the Planet Destiny YouTube channel. I did a video for it over there. We've got, if these audio logs that have been data mined from the PC version of the game are legit, and I do do believe a lot of them are, we've got some incredible stuff to look forward to in the near future. Between all of this, who knows, maybe Destiny 2 is gonna be able to make it past a year after all. I know I'm certainly excited for some things that are coming forward. But alright, I'm gonna go ahead and get on out of here, get back to playing some Destiny 2 on PC. Thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to let me know what you guys think of all this stuff down in the comment section below. And if you enjoyed this video, do feel free to drop a like and maybe even subscribe if you'd like to see some more content from me. Alright, I'm out for now. As always, I am the Black Link. You Guardians, stay frosty.